Hey everyone, welcome back to King's Recaps. Today, we're diving into the 2018 film Tumbbad. The story begins with a powerful goddess who gave birth to a staggering 160 million gods and goddesses. But her favorite child was her firstborn, Hastar. However, Hastar was greedy. He desired all the gold and grain for himself and took it without permission. When he tried to steal the grain, the other gods and goddesses attacked him, stopping him from taking it. The goddess of prosperity intervened and saved Hastar, but on one condition: no one would ever worship him and his name would be erased from history. For many years, Hastar slumbered within his mother. But then, something changed. People built a temple in Hastar's name. It's said that since that day, the fury of the other gods and goddesses has poured down on Tumbbad in the form of endless rain. You are watching King's Recaps, so don't forget to subscribe. The year is 1918. Rain relentlessly pours down on the village of Bamba. A drenched woman scurries to a large mansion, where a very old man awaits. He demands favors in exchange for something, and the woman pleads to hurry as she needs to get home and feed another old woman. A maid lingers in the room, and a statue holding a gold coin catches the eye. The woman begs for the coin, but the old man refuses. He claims she must earn it by running back home through the rain. Meanwhile, the woman's two sons head home. Finding the door locked, they understand their mother hasn't returned. They wait outside, knowing an old lady needs feeding. Eventually, they break the lock and enter. The elder brother, Vinayak, cooks while sending his younger brother to feed the old woman. Though scared, the younger brother ventures forward. Their mother bursts in, slapping both boys. She takes food to the hidden room and feeds the old woman, even cutting her nails. Later that night, Vinayak asks his mother about the gold coin. He's angry when she refuses it, even calling the old man names. His mother slaps him again, revealing a shocking truth: the old man is actually Vinayak's father. She instructs them to warn the old man that unless he gives them the gold coin, they'll stop caring for the old woman. Their conversation is interrupted by the old woman's voice. They find their mother in the room. The old woman wakes briefly, muttering about him coming laughing, before falling back asleep. The next day, the old man dies. The mother plans to leave Tumbbad with her sons for Pune, but Vinayak, convinced there's a hidden treasure in the mansion, refuses. He suggests they return to the mansion because the mansion rightfully belongs to him. His mother refuses, insisting they leave for Pune at dawn. Outside, the younger son climbs their house wall and falls, fatally hitting his head on a stone. Devastated, the mother takes the younger son to the doctor while leaving Vinayak alone at home with instructions to feed the old woman. She warns him that if the old woman wakes, he should tell her to sleep, otherwise he will come laughing. Vinayak finds the food burnt and the old woman awake. Frightened, he searches for something to feed her. The old woman lunges at him, driven by hunger. Unable to recall the magic words, Vinayak nearly becomes her meal. However, she remembers the phrase just in time and lulls the old woman back to sleep. It's revealed that the old woman is cursed by Hastar, forever hungry and immortal. Her only needs are food and sleep. Only when Vinayak puts her to sleep does his mother return. He learns of his brother's death and they leave Tumbbad. Years pass, but greed consumes Vinayak. He returns to Tumbbad. 15 years later, Vinayak returns, driven by his relentless quest for treasure. Vinayak returns to his old house and finds the old woman, miraculously alive despite her decaying body. He demands the treasure's location in exchange for her salvation. Months later, Vinayak returns to Pune, a wealthy man with a stash of gold coins. He discreetly pays off his loans and continues making frequent trips to Tumbbad, each time returning with more gold to sell to Raghav, a money lender. Raghav grows suspicious of the sudden influx of gold, but Vinayak keeps his secret. Raghav visits Vinayak's house, hoping to get information from his wife, but Vinayak arrives and Raghav clams up. Before leaving, Raghav proposes a partnership, which Vinayak rejects. Days later, Raghav sends a maid to Vinayak's house, ostensibly to help with chores but clearly meant to spy. Vinayak, realizing this, hatches a plan. He lures Raghav to Tumbbad, leading him to the old woman's hut. Unaware of the danger within, Raghav enters. Inside the hut, Raghav finds a box. Opening it, he discovers a grotesque doll made of wet dough. Suddenly, Hastar appears, drawn by the offering. Unaware of the danger, Raghav is terrified as Hastar attacks and bites him. Like the old woman, Raghav transforms but becomes trapped within the hut's pit of coal. Vinayak arrives later and finds Raghav stuck. He devises a plan. Using a bowl of flour to create a barrier, Vinayak taunts Hastar. Hastar can't cross the dry flour, allowing Vinayak to offer him a finger as a snack. He then throws wet dough for Hastar to devour while Bondi, his accomplice, grabs a bundle of gold coins and escapes. Hastar remains distracted by the food, enabling Vinayak to repeatedly return, steal gold, and escape unharmed. By 1947, with India's independence, Vinayak has become incredibly wealthy. He has a new house, a car, and 3 children, a son and 2 daughters. However, he's also brought the maid from Tumbbad to his new home, much to his wife's disapproval. The maid lives upstairs, where Vinayak spends most of his time. His wealth fuels his vices, drugs and debauchery. As he ages, he starts training his son. The boy practices climbing a rope and retrieving coins from Hastar's offering. Vinayak takes his son to Tumbbad, explaining the secrets of the place and the dangers of Hastar. His son is understandably terrified. Upon reaching the hut, they find people preparing a wet dough doll offering. Vinayak scoffs, claiming it's unnecessary practice today. They descend into the cave, where Vinayak explains Hastar's hunger for grain and his fear of it. He draws a circle of dry flour, explaining it's a barrier against Hastar. Hastar can't cross it or he'll die, but his hunger for grain compels him towards the wet dough doll. Until the doll is offered, Hastar won't appear. Nervous, Vinayak's son pulls out some wet flour, attracting Hastar. A struggle ensues. The son throws the flour and scrambles up the rope, grabbing gold coins as he goes. They narrowly escape, and Vinayak, furious, beats his son. Despite the danger, they leave with their stolen treasure. Vinayak presents his son with his first, earned, gold coin, emphasizing its importance. They return to Pune, where Vinayak expresses his desire to buy the Tumbbad mansion. However, his wife informs him that the mansion has been given to the Indian government. Frustrated, Vinayak resorts to heavy drinking. Meanwhile, Vinayak's son becomes infatuated with the maid and proposes to her. She laughs, and he offers her his first gold coin. He then approaches his father about the mansion. Vinayak explains that the government now owns the mansion, and they can't return. He shows his son their accumulated wealth, suggesting they live comfortably with what they have. Later, Vinayak discovers a gold coin in the maid's possession. The maid claims her son gave it to her. This revelation fuels Vinayak's suspicions, and the son tries to reason with him, explaining they get the gold from Hastar's offering, not the maid. He proposes returning to Tumbbad and stealing more gold. Vinayak argues that Hastar devours the wet dough offering quickly, limiting the amount of gold they can steal on each trip. Undeterred, Vinayak's son proposes a bolder plan. Why not bring a large quantity of dough dolls? While Hastar devours one doll, they can quickly throw another nearby, distracting him long enough to steal more gold. This scheme excites Vinayak, who promises his son a wedding in a few years. After a few days, they return to Tumbbad, well prepared. They bring a large amount of flour and fashion numerous dough dolls. Usually, they'd only offer one, but this time, they're armed with a whole arsenal. Confident in their plan, they descend into the cave. However, what they witness is horrific. Their abundance of dolls has attracted a horrifying consequence. Normally, only one monstrous entity, Hastar, would appear. But this time, for each dough doll they brought, a new monstrous Hastar has emerged. The sheer number of these nightmarish creatures overwhelms Vinayak's son, who faints at the sight. In that situation, Vinayak tried to sacrifice himself to protect his son. He then bound all the dough dolls to his body and tried to escape all the Hastars following him. Vinayak's courageous act resulted in some of the Hastars vanishing after he cleared them all out. Emerging from the cave, Vinayak is bitten by one of the Hastar, transforming him into a monstrous creature himself, the same curse inflicted on the old woman. Vinayak's son emerges from the cave and sees his transformed father. He realizes the true cost of greed. It has cost him his father. However, a faint smile appears on his face. It seems Vinayak used this desperate act to teach his son a valuable lesson about the dangers of greed. Faced with the stolen gold bundle, he makes a critical choice. He chooses to break the cycle of greed and burns the bundle, leaving Tumbbad behind. The film ends on a somber note, highlighting the consequences of greed across 3 generations. If you enjoy this video, just like the video. Also don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. Thanks for watching.